All right, well, we got to talk about this Nintendo PocketPair Pokemon versus Palworld lawsuit going on. Seems to be a really interesting thing because this is going to set quite a precedent going forward about how these things pan out, at least in Japan, which would ultimately bleed over to the United States and the rest of the world too. So even though it's through the legal system in Japan, this affects everybody. But yeah, there's some interesting stuff, some rumors around why this is happening, like what the context of the lawsuit is, but nothing official yet on that front. But we're going to get into that and also the ramifications of this. So let's just start right off with the statement from Nintendo here, filing lawsuit of infringement of patent rights against PocketPair Inc. Nintendo Company Limited, blah, 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 together with the Pokemon Company, filed a patent of infringement lawsuit in Tokyo District Court against PocketPair. On September 18th, 2024, this lawsuit seeks an injunction against infringement and compensation for damages on the grounds that Palworld, a game developed and released by the defendant, infringes multiple patent rights. Nintendo will continue to take necessary actions against any infringement of its intellectual property rights, including the Nintendo brand itself, to protect the intellectual properties it has worked hard to establish over the years. Now, on the flip side, we've got a statement from PocketPair, quite a bit longer. I'm just going to kind of summarize here. Yesterday, a lawsuit was filed against our company for patent infringement. We received notice that this lawsuit will begin the appropriate legal proceedings and investigations into the claims of patent infringement. At this moment, we are unaware of the specific patents we are accused of infringing upon, and we have not been notified of such details. So, essentially, PocketPair doesn't know what they're infringing upon yet. So that's going to be revealed in the coming days and weeks, and they might not be able to even reveal that to us. Because of how the legal system works. However, they said we're gonna, continue to do what we do, and we're gonna try and fight for the enjoyment of gamers and to make fun and interesting games, and just continue to do what we've been doing. So, basically, it's David versus Goliath in this situation, and PocketPair is certainly David in the situation here. However, it could very well be that they did infringe on some kind of patent that Nintendo has related to Pokemon. But the things that we're talking about, the things that are flying around rumor-wise, they seem fairly unfounded in my opinion. But effectively, what this is going to mean is that the big guys that have all these patents can basically use them to patent troll other companies that are quote-unquote infringing on their IP. So you make a game like another game, and they're gonna bring the hammer down on you in any way they can, including, harassing you for infringing upon their patents, their abstract little patents that they have. And the ones that are in question here are suspect at best, in my opinion. I don't think they're valid patents to be held. Usually, a patent is involving a technology or, kind of a process or procedure that is very well defined, and it's more technical than conceptual. And there's a fine line there. There's a bit of a gray area, especially when it comes to video games. Like, is the way the game plays patentable? Is it copyrightable even? And a lot of people would argue that it's not, because, if, let's say, id Software decided to patent the idea of a first-person shooter, they very well could patent those technologies and keep that under lock and key, and then we would never have any other first-person shooter except for an id Software game. So they would just have the ability legally to patent troll everyone out of business, so you wouldn't have any of the other first-person shooters, any of the first-person RPGs. None of that would have come about. So you're talking a good third of the gaming industry, and that's being generous, that wouldn't exist because of patent trolling by id Software, which is one of the reasons why they wouldn't do that, just because it's bad for gaming, it's bad for the industry, it's bad for everybody. It makes them look bad, and in this situation, it's going to make Nintendo look bad, unless this patent is very well defined and a technical patent, which, like I said, the rumors are that it's not. So that's the ramifications, is that, if this goes in Nintendo's way, then that sets the precedent to have all these big studios, these big publishers, just be able to patent troll the little guy and just, decimate whole sectors of gaming, just to protect their intellectual property, as it were. So, that's going to discourage any other developer from trying to explore that space, And especially in the case of the Pokemon style games, it's kind of messed up because then you'd never have anything else but Pokemon. And given how Pokemon's been going lately, you would not have very fun games in that space anymore because they've not been innovating in a long while. They've kind of grown stagnant. At least that's a lot of people's opinions on Pokemon games, and that's part of why Palworld has been so refreshing, so exciting, is because it's a different take on Pokemon. It's a whole lot of fun. So that's the general idea here, and that's the ramifications at least, and getting more towards the rumor factory. What they're saying is that the IP is actually the concept of capturing monsters with a throwable trap, a throwable ball. So that's kind of what this article here is talking about. What's the killer patent Nintendo is suing Palworld for? Japanese patent attorney offers in-depth analysis, and it's a good article to read. I recommend you read through the whole thing, but the long story short is it's this patent right here, 7545191, owned by Nintendo and the Pokemon Company. Kurihara calls this patent a killer patent, commenting, "It seems like it would be hard to avoid. If you want to make a Pokemon-like game, it's easy to infringe if you're not careful." The expert does not go into detail about the rest of the remaining 3 divisional applications made by Nintendo. The Pokemon Company, namely patents 7528390, 7493117, and 7505854. However, a rough look at the description suggests that the former is related to riding on top of Pokemon, while the latter two tie into specifics of catching Pokemon. Now, in Palworld, you can ride on top of the bigger pals. They can be effectively a mount instead of just a monster. So there is that potential. There is that in that game. And then there's obviously the equivalent of the Pokeballs in Palworld, where you toss them and you catch the monsters. And that is the specific patent in question here, is being able to throw the ball at the monster and catch the monster, and that's the mechanic. Now, going into those specifics, is this really patentable? Is this a technology? It doesn't go into code. It doesn't go into conceptuals about how it's being implemented. It doesn't go into the technical details, at least from what I see. And if it did, it would be too specific to be able to nail some other company from doing the same concept in a different way. And that's the problem with patents, is that you're supposed to be patenting something that is a specific process that you've worked out, not we throw the ball and we catch the monster, and nobody else can do that because we've patented it. That's not how patents are supposed to work. That's not the spirit of the law, at least. Now, I know that that's a lot of patents are doing that these days, and there's a lot of stuff out there that does cover those kind of grounds. And companies use that to troll other companies into bankruptcy and destroy them financially to make money off of these patents. And that's become a thing, and I hope Nintendo is not engaging in that in this particular instance, but they very well may be, which would make them look very bad. So if it is in fact this patent in question here, and it is this ill-defined, and they're trying to say, well, because Palworld uses a ball that they throw to catch monsters, therefore they're infringing on our patents. They are infringing on the intellectual property conceptually, but that's not an illegal infringement in my opinion, at least, and in many people's opinion, because there's been other cases that have gone through that would have decided in the fact that it wasn't an infringing action. It wasn't actually infringing on their IP, because it was, distinctive enough, brand-wise, conceptual-wise, that it separated itself from the original enough that it said, this is not infringement. This is just someone else doing a similar thing in a different way. And Palworld could arguably be said to be doing things similarly, but in a different way. So it's going to be an interesting legal case. I really am interested to see how this one turns out, especially as an indie dev. Like, does this mean that people can troll me for the kind of games I make if I make a game that's like another game? Because I am looking to make a game that's like another game, and if this sets that precedent, I might have to scrap my whole project just because it's legally not distinct enough. So I would have to either scrap it or change it dramatically, which I would probably end up just changing it dramatically. But it's a tough rope to walk. I mean, if this does in fact go Nintendo's way, and it is in fact this patent in question, that's a bad move for the industry. That is a bad situation to be in. But hopefully it isn't. Hopefully it's some other obscure patent. Maybe it is a technical patent, like the way that they, I don't know, render the monsters, or how the infrastructure is built around that. Code wise, if they can pick it apart that way, that is actionable patent infringement. That would qualify as being okay. I mean, that would be understandable, because it would show that PocketPair had stolen code from Nintendo, basically copied what they were working on somehow and integrated into their game, and that is unquestionably patent infringement. That's unquestionably against the law. That is tantamount to industrial espionage, in fact, and I don't think that that's the case, but we'll see what happens. So I don't know. It's going to be fun, and it could be disastrous. It could be okay. We'll have to wait and see. I'm going to probably do another video once we really know more about this case and the players around it and how the thing is panning out. I'll do another video to follow up on this, but that might not be for a while, so I figured I'd get this out there and kind of let you guys know what's going on so far. But yeah, that's what I got for you guys. Hope you enjoyed the video. If you like these kind of videos, give it a like, and I will talk to you guys later.